Hi, Archie.
Hi, how are you today?
I am great. This is take two. I almost forgot to record this again. Can you believe it? You will help me remember, right?
Yeah,
Okay, here we are. This is just where we left off last time at the beginning of chapter 2. We heard Jigsaw go up into his office, which is a tree house, and he answered the phone. So he has a phone in his treehouse, and he answered it by saying, Jigsaw Jones, private eye. And we learned that a private eye is actually a private investigator. The I, this I, is because it sounds like I, which is the first letter in the word investigator. And a private investigator is a detective. Private means they work for themselves. They do not have a boss. They are not working for the police department, for example. So when someone wants to hire a detective or a private investigator to help them with a problem, with a mystery, then they are what we call the client. And that's the name of this chapter, the client. We're going to take just a look for a minute at business. We will learn a little bit about how business works. So, a business here in the orange box wants to make money. They need to get money. And so they want to sell something that people will buy and give them money. Well, there are two different things they can sell. They can either sell something called goods or something called services. Goods is a product. It is something that you can take with you. Maybe you can hold it or see it or have it. For example, if someone has a lemonade stand, they are making the product of lemonade. And when you go and buy a cup of lemonade from them, then you can take that lemonade with you. You can have it and you can drink it. So at a lemonade stand, you are making goods or a product. The other thing that can be sold is called a service. For example, a doctor or a dentist or a teacher, they are not making a product that you can buy. They are doing something for you to help you out. A doctor is helping you find out why you are not healthy or if something is wrong with your body and how they can help fix it. A dentist is helping you out with your teeth. A teacher is helping you out by helping you learn new things. Someone who is raking leaves for a business is offering a service. They are not selling you a rake. They are saying, I will rake the leaves for you. I will do this job for you, and then you will not have to do it yourself. A detective is selling a service. A detective is not giving someone a magnifying glass and saying, go solve the problem by yourself. A detective is saying, I will help you solve this mystery and answer these questions. I will do this by looking for clues, using my brain, doing some big thinking, and figuring it out. So these are all different types of businesses. And then they want someone to come and give them money for either the product, the goods, or the service. Well, the person who gives them money is either going to be called a customer or a client. We often, and the customer or the client will pay money to the business. We often use the word customer if they are buying goods. Okay, so for example, at 7-Eleven, we can buy goods. We can go in and buy some milk or some chips or a latte for me. We can buy something. So we are a customer and we give them money and we take the product with us, the goods. We often use the word client for someone who is paying for services. Now, examples of a client would be a patient or a student. So a patient will pay the doctor or the dentist for their service. A student might pay a teacher for their service if it's a private teacher. A client might pay a detective for the service of solving a mystery for them. Now, I always say usually. It's not easy to say always or every time because there are not a lot of things that are always. Sometimes there are exceptions. For example, when we're talking about the service of raking leaves, the person who hires you to rake their leaves, I'm not sure we really use a name for that person, but I would probably be more likely to call that person your customer. But customer and client are what we call the person, or it could also be a company that is paying a business, could be a private business of one person, or a big company, or a doctor's office, a clinic, a school. And they're either paying for goods, something that they can take with them and keep and own, like books, food, cars, clothes, a toothbrush, a suitcase, things that we can keep, or for a service, like having the airline fly you across the ocean to visit America, or the service of fixing your tooth, or shoveling the snow, or letting you stay at a hotel for a nice vacation, or giving you sailing lessons, or raking the leaves in your yard, or solving a mystery. So Jigsaw Jones has a business and he gets money for doing the service of being a detective. And the person who hires him will be called a client and they will give him money. So that's why this chapter is called The Client. And we're going to start right here. Remember, where we left off is when Jigsaw answered the phone, but we haven't heard what the other person said. We haven't heard about the person who was calling him on the phone. And that person says, Jigsaw, this is Kim Lewis from Ms. Gleason's class. I need your help. Now, we are used to seeing that the pronoun I means Jigsaw, the person telling us the story. But we have to remember that there's quotation marks here and here, which means in between those quotation marks is someone talking. And it tells us who's talking because she says her name. She says, this is Kim Lewis. So this is Kim talking. And the person talking is going to say I. So I is talking about Kim. So in this sentence, I is Kim Lewis. And then there's another pronoun, which is your. And this pronoun right here, your or you, is the second person pronoun. It's what we use for the person we are talking to when there is a conversation between two people. And on the phone, there is a conversation between two people. So the person talking is Kim. She is the first person. And the person she is talking to is Jigsaw. He is the second person. So Kim needs Jigsaw's help. Look, now we have an I. Do you think this is Kim or Jigsaw?
Jigsaw.
That's right. And how do you know that it's Jigsaw?
Because it is I. Because Jigsaw is telling a story.
Yeah, but this I is Kim Lewis. So how come this I is Jigsaw?
Because it has two people.
There are two people.
And it is Kim Lewis talking. Kim Lewis will say I, but Jigsaw will say I too.
Because they're going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
We actually have two clues. One clue is that is the margin. And so when we find the margin, then we can see, oh, there's an indent right here, and an indent right here, and an indent right here. So this is a new paragraph, and this is a new paragraph, and this is a new paragraph. So in this paragraph right here, I'll use yellow. In this paragraph right here with the yellow box around it, this is Kim talking. And so her turn is all finished because we start a new paragraph when someone new is talking. So this is now going to be Jigsaw's turn. And so now Jigsaw will say I. That's one clue, this indent and starting a new paragraph and having Kim's turn be finished. And now it's Jigsaw's turn. But there's another clue, and the other clue is that there's no quotation marks right here, which means the only person who can say I, if there's no quotation marks, the only person who can say I is the person who's telling us the story, and that's Jigsaw. So, and Jigsaw is kind of telling us, the reader, about the conversation. And he says to us, the reader, I told her, this her is Kim Lewis, she, Kim Lewis, had called the right place. For $1 a day, I made problems go away. This here is a very interesting sentence in this orange circle. For $1 a day, I made problems go away. This is something we call a slogan. Every business, well, not every, a business doesn't have to have a slogan, but a lot of businesses want to have a slogan because it will help them get more customers or clients. A slogan is going to be something that is short, easy to remember, and something that people will think of very easily. And as soon as they think of it, it will make them think of a certain business. One thing that's easy to remember is when something rhymes, when something has a rhythm to it. So poems are easy to remember. And you can see in here, he says, for $1 a day, I made problems go away. Can you hear the rhyming in there? What two words rhyme?
Day and away.
A day away. And so that's a little rhyme, like a poem. So it's kind of catchy. It's easy for us to remember. For $1 a day, I made problems go away. This is his slogan. I'm going to show you two more slogans for two businesses that you might know. Okay, here is one. What business is this?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. And McDonald's has a slogan. Their slogan is, I'm loving it. And so they put this on all of their takeout bags and their drink cups, their cups for their drinks, their cartons for French fries, their packaging for their cheeseburgers. They want us to think, I'm loving it when we see the business McDonald's. That's their slogan. Okay, do you know what this business is?
KFC.
KFC. We also call it in America Kentucky Fried Chicken. And they have a slogan, and the slogan is, their slogan is, it's finger licking good. It's finger licking good. And so they put that on a lot of their cartons and the things that they put their food in, so that people will think, they'll see the KFC sign and they'll think, oh, it's finger licking good. And then they'll say, oh, that sounds so yummy. And all of a sudden they'll get this idea, oh, wouldn't it be great to have dinner at KFC tonight? And so this slogan is designed to help the customer think, that's where I want to eat. It will make me happy because it will be delicious. So when a business has a good slogan, it is usually one that is either short or something like a rhyme that is easy to remember. And then when a person is thinking about, what restaurant do we want to eat at? Or, which detective do I want to hire? They might have that slogan come to their mind and say, what business is that? Who is it that uses that slogan? Oh, right, Jigsaw Jones, private eye. For $1 a day, he makes problems go away. Well, that sounds great. So a good slogan can help your business get more customers or clients. Okay, so back to the phone call. We, which is going to be the person who's talking, which is Jigsaw, and at least one other person, and that's the person he's talking to, Kim. So Jigsaw and Kim talked briefly. Briefly means not for a long time. Kim mentioned a stolen necklace. Mentioned is a word that means she talked about it. She told Jigsaw about it. Stolen necklace. Well, stolen means it's missing. Someone took it. It did not belong to them. They did not have permission, and they took it. She talked about a mysterious note. Dun, 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 dun. That word mysterious. Do you see a smaller word in mysterious? If we were to take that I right there and change it into a Y, do you know what word we would have?
Mystery.
Mystery. That's right. And then they just added a suffix. This suffix turns a noun into an adjective. So mystery is actually a noun. Mystery is something that is a puzzle or a problem. We don't know answers. It's when something happens and we don't know who did it or why they did it or how they did it. So it is a mystery. We put the word a or the in front of the word mystery because mystery is a noun, and we put a or the in front of nouns. But if we want to use the word mystery to describe this note and say this note is like a mystery, there's a mystery about it, then we want to turn the word mystery into an adjective. So we add OUS, and then we don't say mystery us. We will change the way that we say the word. We will change where we put the emphasis or the stress or the accent. So when we say mystery, we stress or say stronger this part, mystery. But when we add the OUS, we will say it like this, mysterious. So we're gonna, instead of putting the stronger sound here, we're going to change and put it here. So this would be, if I covered this up, this would be mystery. But when I add the suffix, it becomes mysterious. So it's this part here that we say in a stronger way, mysterious. And this is now an adjective telling us that the note, we might not know who wrote it or why they wrote it or how they wrote it. It is mysterious. We have questions about it. So she got a mysterious note. So we, Jigsaw and Kim, decided to meet at her house. An hour later, I had washed my face, combed my hair, eaten lunch, and changed my underwear. Now I could walk without itching. Remember, his underwear was full of dry, scratchy leaves that were going crunch, crunch. I do want to say one thing about this sentence right here. This is a pretty interesting sentence, pretty fancy sentence. I'm putting the whole thing inside that blue box. Now, who is the subject of that sentence? Who is that sentence about?
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw. Jigsaw's the one doing all of those things. And since he's the one telling the story, he says I. So I am going to put a red box around I because he's the subject. And I like to use red boxes for my subject. Now, this is actually super interesting. Let me get rid of my red box for just a minute. Oops, hang on here. Let me get my scissors. Let's take a little look at copy that. Okay. Let's take a little look at this word. I''D. You know, we have talked about how the apostrophe D could either be the word did or had or would. Do you know which one it is in this sentence? Let's go back and take a look. I'd washed my face. I'd washed my face. Which one do you think that is? I did washed, I had washed, I would washed.
I did.
That's a good guess, but let me give you a hint. These three words can be part of a two-word verb. They can help out another verb. And if had is part of a two-word verb, then the next word will often have ed at the end of it. So if you see a two-word verb, here's going to be one, and here's going to be the other one, and there's an ed at the end of it, then it's probably had. So this would be, I had washed my face. So we have to remember that these are all verbs. Well, let's go back and look at, this is one word. This is one word, but we have I, a pronoun, and had, which is a verb. So in this one word, this word I is the subject of the sentence. It's a pronoun, which is the subject of the sentence. It's talking about Jigsaw. But this part right here, which is part of the same word, I'd, is actually the word had, and it's a verb. So even though I'd is one word, it actually was made by combining two words. And one of those words is a pronoun taking the place of a noun. being the subject of the sentence, and the other word is a verb. So if we are looking at figuring out what's the subject and verb in the sentence, we have to pull this apart and we have to call this two different words. We cannot say that I'(D) is the subject of the sentence because the apostrophe-D is not a noun, it is a verb. So those apostrophe words can be tricky. So I'm going to say here that I is the subject of the sentence, but actually the apostrophe is HAD, had, and that is going to be part of a verb, part of a two-word verb. So I had what? I had washed. So that's the first thing that he did. Number one is he washed his face, but he also did something else. And look, this one also has an ED on the end. And so this is the second thing he did. He combed his hair. And then he did something else. He ate lunch. This is number 3. And then he did one more thing. It says, and changed his underwear. And that also has ED on the end. And that is the fourth thing that he did. So in that sentence, there's only one subject, Jigsaw, but he is doing 4 things. So we are making a list of the 4 things that he did. Okay, washed his face is number 1, and then combed his hair is number 2, ate lunch is number 3, and changed his underwear is number 4. When we make a list, we have a rule about how to do that. The list would be, we would put number 1, comma, number 2, comma. Now, a list can have 3 or more things for this rule, but we have 4 things here, so I will show you with 4 things. 1, 2, 3, and then we have the word and then we have number 4. So you can see when we have a list, there's going to be a comma here, here, and here. We put a comma after each thing, each item in the list. Right before the last one, we put the word and. So that is our list. Well, and when we make a list like this, each of these items, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, they have to be the same kind of word. For example, they could each be a noun. We could say Bill, comma, Joe, comma, John, comma, and Sam played soccer together. They could each be a color. Red, comma, white, comma, blue, comma, and yellow are the colors on a flag. They could each be a verb. You could say she swam, comma, ran, comma, dove, comma, and laughed. So whatever you want your list to be, you just have to make sure that each one of these things in the list is the same kind of word. They either need to all be a noun or all be a verb or all be an adjective, or they can be a phrase, which is a group of words. But if they are a phrase, then the first word in the phrase has to be the same kind of word for each of the phrases. And that's what happens in this blue box. So something we have to see here is this word had goes with each of the things in the list. It's had washed, had combed, had eaten, had changed. So they could have said, I had washed my face, had combed my hair, had eaten lunch, and had changed my underwear. But we don't need to say had 4 times if it's the same word for each item in the list. So we only have to say had once. But then Jigsaw had done 4 things. So the first word in each of these phrases, washed my face is a phrase because there's 3 words. Combed my hair is a phrase because there's 3 words. Eaten lunch is a phrase because it's more than 1 word. It's a group of words. Changed my underwear is a phrase because it's more than 1 word. It's a group of words. But the first word in the phrase for each of the phrases has to be the same type of word, doing the same job in the sentence. In this sentence, I and had are going to work for each of these things in the list. I had done this. I had done number 2. I had done number 3. And I had done number 4. So we have I had 1, washed my face, comma, combed my hair, comma, eaten lunch, comma, and changed my underwear. So 4 different things that Jigsaw did. Now, if Jigsaw is the one who did all 4 things, you don't have to write, I had washed my face, I had combed my hair, I had eaten lunch, I had changed my underwear. You only have to say I had 1 time because it's the same for each of the parts of the sentence. And then we just make a list of what's not the same. All right. Mila, was waiting outside. We had been friends since forever. Does that make sense? How can you be friends since forever? What do you think that means? Forever is an amount of time that never ends. How can you be friends since, it would make sense to say we have been friends since 2nd grade. We had been friends since we were 2 years old. We had been friends since we both moved to the same school. We had been friends since we played basketball together. But what does it mean we had been friends since forever? Maybe longer. This is where Jigsaw is trying to be funny. He's basically saying, I have known Mila my whole life. I can't even think of a time in my life where I did not know Mila. For as long as I can remember, Mila and I have been friends. When he says maybe longer, he's just making a joke. He wants you to laugh. Mila was also my partner. We ran the best detective agency in the 2nd grade. So now we know something important about Jigsaw. What grade is he in?
3rd grade.
Really?
5th grade.
Oh, what am I going to do with you? Do you know anybody in 2nd grade who could read this for me?
Grade 1. He's grade 1.
Archie, you are in 2nd grade. You and Jigsaw are in the same grade, and you are funny just like him. You have a sense of humor just like Jigsaw.
But I didn't see him in 2nd grade.
He's not in your school? Well, he is in, I would
America.
say, maybe Ms. Gleason's class.
He is in America.
He could be. Although, do you think he's a real person?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think so. But that's my guess. This is a fiction book. Now, it is possible that the author came up with the idea for this character based on someone he knew in real life, but this is not written as a nonfiction book. This is written as a fiction book. Okay. That is
Done.
done for today. That is our story for today. And now it's time to say,
salad.
you want to know something funny?
Huh?
There's someone who watches our YouTube videos, and at the end of every video, she hears us say, "So long, cheddar chip," right?
Yeah.
And so whenever she finishes a class with me, do you know what she wants to say?
So long, cheddar chip.
No. She wants to say, "So long, chocolate chip cookie." I think it's funny. All right, but you and me, we are cheddar all the way. So long, cheddar chip.
So long, Piggy.
No, 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 no. No changing our routine. Now I'm gonna cut you off.
Bye.
All right, bye.